Hey guys, welcome to the world's fastest MCAT crash course video. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sachin Shah and I leave for medical school in 5 months. Just went through the whole application process. So today I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about the MCAT. Today's video is going to be broken down into 4 sections. The first one is a breakdown of the actual MCAT. The second one are common resources that students use to study. The third is the timeline for the exam. And fourth is test day information straight from AAMC directly. So firstly, let's go over the MCAT breakdown. So there are 4 sections on the MCAT. Sections 1, 3, and 4 are more content based. Those are going to be your chemistry, physics, your biology, biochemistry, and psychology, sociology. And then the second section is going to be CARS, or otherwise critical analysis and reading skills. So sections 1, 3, and 4 are going to be 95 minutes each, or an hour and 35 minutes. And section 2 is going to be 90 minutes, or an hour and 30 minutes, okay? And between each of those, you will have a 10-minute break between the first 2 sections, a 30-minute lunch break between the middle 2 sections, and then a 10-minute break again between sections 3 and 4. And so the total test time comes out to around 7 hours and 5 minutes if you use all the breaks in full, and the total test time increases to about 7 hours and 30 minutes, including all of the initial test day stuff at the beginning of the exam and then the wrap up and survey at the end of the exam. And then sections 1, 3, and 4, again, while they're 95 minutes, they're each going to have 59 questions. And out of those 59 questions, about 15 of them will be freestanding, meaning that there's no passage associated with them. And the rest of the questions will be based off of a passage that you're given or a study or something like that. And section 2 is 53 questions, and none of those will be freestanding. Those will all be based off of passages and readings. The second thing I will go over now are the commonly used resources that students use to study. So there's going to be AAMC Prep, Princeton Review, Kaplan, UWorld, Blueprint. So all of those are third-party resources, with the exception of the AAMC Prep, because they actually write the exam. And so I highly suggest looking at these different options. The links are all in the description below, so you can just click on those links, look at the website, see what different programs, courses, packages that they offer, and choose what's right for you based on price or the level of help that you need or want. And then lastly, there are Anki flashcard decks for the MCAT that a lot of students use to study. So Anki is free on your computer or on your Samsung phone, and there is a little fee if you get it on your Apple iPhone, but I think it's totally worth it. You'll need it in med school anyway, so I say you should get it. As far as Anki goes, I think you should get the Miles Down Anki deck. The link is also in the description for that. That is what I personally used, so all the links are in the description. The third thing I want to go through is the timeline. So the MCAT is offered between mid-January and mid-September. So anytime after mid-September through the rest of the year, you will not be able to schedule or take an MCAT exam. So what does this mean? Let's go through an example. Let's say that you want to apply for the upcoming 2025 cycle. That means that you would submit your primary application in May of 2025, okay? What a lot of people do is they take their first MCAT in January of 2025, and then they get their score back a month later. So anytime you take the MCAT, you can go online and look up what date the score gets released. It's usually almost exactly a month after you take the test. So a lot of people will take it January of 2025, and then they will get their score back a month later, and then decide if they want to retake it. They have a few months to study, retake it again, get their score back before they apply in May. That's what a lot of people do. But what's becoming more popular nowadays is taking the MCAT even earlier. So for example, what you would do is you would study this summer of 2024, and then August or September of 2024, you would take the MCAT for your first try. And if you do well, you're great. Otherwise, if you want to take the MCAT again, you would take it anytime in the spring. So you could take it January, February, March, April, whatever, and that would be your second attempt. So that's becoming more and more popular, but you can do it either way. Those are the 2 most common timeline ways to do it. And then lastly, I want to go to test day materials. So down below in the description, there are 4 links to AAMC's websites of really important information that you need to know about test day, okay? The first one is going to be about valid identification. So what identification you can bring and what you need to be allowed into the examination room. Then secondly, there's a list of items allowed in the testing room. So more often than not, you're going to be allowed to have your photo identification that you bring. The center is going to provide you a notebook and a marker, which I will show an image of in a little bit. They also might provide a storage key for a locker. And then lastly, they will provide either foam earplugs or a headset. So one little study tip that I used and got from a previous medical student is when you're studying for the MCAT, make sure that you wear a headset or little earplugs. So that way you get used to that feeling, because there will be a lot of clicking going on because other people are taking this exam at the same time. So blocking out the noise can be very helpful. Secondly, there are going to be items allowed during exam breaks. So my personal recommendation is ask the testing center beforehand or your proctor beforehand if you're allowed to leave the testing center during your lunch break. If so, you can go outside, walk around a little bit, enjoy your lunch. I highly recommend not going to your car, and do not use any electronic devices or your cell phone, as it'll be a violation of MCAT policies and they can carry you through the consequences as listed on their website. Go check out what is allowed during the exam and what is not allowed during the exam during breaks. And then lastly, there is the MCAT test day notebook booklet. So here's an image of what it looks like. You'll get this notebook before your exam. It'll have 9 total graph line pages where you can write notes, do calculations, etc. If you need more space than what's provided on the notebook booklet, what you can do is you can raise your hand and the test administrator will exchange your booklet with a new clean one. So guys, that's a breakdown. That's my crash course of the MCAT. If you want to know specifically what I did to increase my MCAT score by 20 points in just a month and a half, I will be posting a video soon, so subscribe for that. Or if I've already posted it, it'll be somewhere here on the screen. Just click on it. Also, if you guys could please leave a like and a comment, that would help immensely to help as many pre-med students as possible get into medical school. Also, if you want to talk with me one-on-one, ask me questions about your own study MCAT plans or your application, your primary, secondary, how to prepare for interviews, I'm more than happy to meet with you one-on-one. Go check out my Instagram. The link is also in the description. And in my bio, there's a link to schedule a free one-on-one session to talk with me. And I'd be happy to do that with you guys. So